People decide whether you're worth watching or not before you even say a word. In the first half a second of your video, your audience already makes a decision whether you're worth listening to or not. And most creators lose that decision every single time. They don't even know it. The look is your visual brand, your set, your lighting, the way you show up on camera. And it's not about being flashy and spending thousands on equipment. It's about being intentional, because intentional reads as professional, and professional reads as trustworthy. And being trustworthy is what gets people to stick around long enough to hear what you actually have to say. In this episode, we're going to break down the 4 visual levers that determine how your audience perceives you and how you can lock them in so that your brand looks like a brand from the very first frame. Let's get straight into it. Vamos.
In this lesson, we're going to go over the snap judgment, why visual design beats the hook, what people actually judge in the first half a second, the 4 visual levers that you control, the pretty privilege rule, why iPhone footage gets washed out, the 4-second test, and the constraints worksheet, which I highly recommend you guys sending across to your editor once you've watched this video and giving them a little bit of context as to what they need to do. Okay, let's jump straight in. So what is this lesson about? This is foundation 2 of 4, the look. Your visual identity, okay? People decide whether they want to watch your video or not in the first half a second, and that decision happens before they even hear your hook. In this lesson, we're going to break down what it is that they're actually judging in that first half a second and how you can engineer that snap judgment to work in your favor. So, what is the snap judgment? Let me set the scene for you. Imagine you're on a train, right? And it's 11 p.m. And a guy walks on wearing a hoodie. You can't really see his face. He looks a little bit rough around the edges. He's kind of jacked. In a split second, right, you've already decided that he's dangerous. You avoid eye contact and you're staying alert. For all we know, he could be a CEO with 200 million in the bank. We don't know, right? But we're staying alert and we're aware because our brain has made the decision that that is a threat, before we've got any evidence that that's factual or not. That is a snap judgment. And this same mechanism happens every time you post a video and someone scrolls on it. Their brain is deciding whether it's actually worth watching your video before you've even had a chance to say a word. And that's how important making sure that your visual design is done well. What is the visual design? Well, let's get into it. Visual design is actually more important than the hook. Now, in the last episode, I told you guys that the most important part of a video was the hook. And I still stand by that, right? But visual design is also part of your hook. But without it, your hook won't even get listened to. It won't get heard, it won't get read, whatever. So we need to make sure that the first part of the hook, the visual design, does its job. And its job is to convince our viewer that in the first half a second, that they should carry on watching our video. So, every creator obsesses over their hooks, but it only matters if they've stayed past the initial snap judgment. So if your visual design is weak, no one will ever get to see your hook. No one will get to hear it. They will scroll before you've even had a chance to say anything. But if your visual design is strong, you earn the next 3 seconds. The next 3 seconds is where your hook then should do its job. Provide curiosity, slight context to what the video is going to be about, and then give the audience that next reason to stay or to go, right? So the visual design is the upstream of the hook, and most creators do it backwards. They just focus on the hook without realizing that that first half a second snap judgment is going to determine whether somebody even makes it to the hook or doesn't. So what are people actually judging in those first half a seconds? I've got a few different signals here and what it tells the viewer, and these are questions that I probably ask myself when I'm scrolling through subconsciously, and you do the same thing. So lighting, right? Lighting is huge. But what does it tell the viewer? Are you a real creator or are you a beginner? If you scroll through someone's feed, or if you're scrolling through Instagram Reels and you see something that's really nicely lit, you've got a key light, you've got some backlight, you've got props, etc., instantly, subconsciously, you think intermediate or professional. But if you see somebody who's overexposed, washed out, the light is just not very good, are they a beginner? These are the questions that you ask yourself in your head, right? Same with camera quality. If your camera quality is shit, naturally, people are going to think cheap. And if it's cheap, why would it be cheap if you're successful? Why would it be cheap if you make enough money? Why would it be cheap if you're somebody that I should listen to? Should I even take this seriously? Your camera makes a difference. Your background. Are you living the life that you're claiming? Like for me, right now, I'm in my villa in Bali. You cannot do this unless you're pretty fucking good at something, right? And yes, I'm not in a penthouse in Miami that costs me 20K a month, but I'm still here, right? Outfit. Do you have taste? Do you fit my vibe? Composition. Are you confident in the frame? I mean, we can talk about this right now. I think I look pretty fucking confident the way that I'm sat, spitting my sauce. And then editing style. Is this a brand or is this a one-off video? These are the different signals that people are going to judge in the first half a second and what it actually tells the viewer. So if we can get all of these ticked off and conquer them and master them, we give our hook the best possible opportunity to do its job, okay? So what are the 4 visual levers that you can actually control? First one, fashion. Your clothes signal who you are. Most creators dress like everybody else in their niche. Plain black tee or a Hormozy wife beater or whatever, right? But looking the same as everybody else isn't going to do you any favors, right? Standing out visually is half the battle. I'll use Hormozy as an example, right? If I say wife beater, flannel, nose tape, these are all pieces of clothing or accessories that you instantly pair with Mr. Hormozy. If I say bald head, tattoos, sunglasses, who do you think of? Tate? If I say old money sunglasses, who do you think of? E-Man? Right? What I want you guys to do is to pick a uniform, the look that you wear in 80% of your content. Now me, I like to present myself in a smart, casual way. Yes, I'm not wearing suits and custom pieces and this, that, whatever, but I will always make an effort to wear a nice shoe, a nice trouser, a nice polo, a nice shirt, a nice t-shirt whenever I'm filming content, because that is the way that I want my brand to look. And I can only do that through my fashion, right? Number 2, set and background. What's in the frame tells a story, but a bare wall says amateur, right? A curated background shows that your piece of content is intentional. I have multiple different angles in my villa that I could have shot from today, but I decided to set up in this exact spot. So you can see me clearly, you can see the rice fields and the pool in the background. It's an intentional setup, it's an intentional backdrop, okay? Even in a small room, for some of you guys that don't have the luxury of staying in a place which is as picturesque as this villa, you can still build your set, right? You can get plants, art, books, a product, whatever it is, right? You can create your set and background to match whatever it is that you're doing. I'll give you an example from one of our clients, Mr. Josh Granger. Before working with us, Josh was producing a lower value content. A lot of his stuff was iPhone footage, talking head, no real lifestyle being shown through. The content wasn't bad, right? But the perceived value of what he had to say and what he was doing was low because of the way it was presented to the world. So we rebuilt his whole visual, right, around top of funnel lifestyle content, selling the lifestyle, the cars, the travel, and the life behind the offer. It was the same person with the same expertise, but just a different visual story. The shift instantly gave him an authority boost, and what happened after wasn't a coincidence, right? Josh's business 3x'd off the back of that, and has gone on to become one of the most recognized guys in the whole setting management community at this stage, right? Same person, same content category, but just a different visual brand, completely different result, okay? Lighting. If your face isn't clearly lit, the viewer can't connect. Lighting is the difference between a professional creator and just a random person on their feed, right? Here are a couple of options that you guys can use ranked from best to worst. So, best, soft, natural window light. It's free and it looks professional. It's great, okay? A key light and fill, which is obviously a paid setup and you have full control of how your lighting looks. A ring light, I wouldn't recommend. I mean, it's cheap, it works, but it's slightly flat. And then overhead room light is just a no-go, guys, okay? And then finally, your editing style. Editing is part of your visual brand. And it matters more than you think. We go by a 4 constraint rule, and it consists of 2 fonts, 3 colors, 1 asset type, which is B-roll, motion graphics, raw, don't mix it, right? And 1 background style. Make sure you guys stick to these religiously across every single video, because consistency will beat creativity here, okay? Next, the pretty privilege rule. Like it or not, guys, looking good helps. And this is something that I'm a huge advocate for. Before I get into this part of the presentation, I'm just gonna talk. I get a haircut every single week without fail, no matter where I am in the world. Because for me, my beard looking sharp, my hair being tidy, looking well groomed is so fucking important. You guys might not know this about me, but I actually got my teeth composite edge bonded here and whitened. I didn't have bad teeth before, but my work is my brand. And my brand starts with how I look. Like I just said, the first half a second determines whether my hook is even going to get hurt. Taking care of my hair, taking care of my skin, making sure my teeth look good, making sure I'm in shape. These are things that so many guys overlook, and it's so stupid. Not only from a health side, you have one body, take care of it. But from a branding side, from a content side, if you look like a fucking scruff, I mean, I don't know about you, but I would never take somebody seriously that looks like shit, whose beard is dangly and scruffy and hair's all over the place and looks like they've just woke up. I would never, ever, ever take anybody seriously that doesn't take their own personal hygiene, look, and their just brand in general seriously. And that's also a point in itself. If you don't take yourself seriously in the way you present yourself to the world, how the fuck can you expect somebody to take you seriously when they see you? So let's get into it. You don't need to be a model, guys, okay? Just fucking take care of yourself, right? Skincare, hair, fit clothes. I want you guys to show up to your shoots. I hate to put this in there, this made me giggle. I want you guys to show up to your shoots like you're meeting your partner's parents for the first time. You wouldn't show up in, you know, a vest that's creased and no hair done and with your breath all stinking and having no aftershave on when you're going to meet your parents for the first time. You're going to put something on nicely so that their first impression of you is a good one, right? Why wouldn't you do the same on your Instagram? Also, make sure that we're wearing things that make us feel confident. Another reason why I get my hair cut every single week is because when I look good, I feel good. When I feel good, I perform good, right? And if you feel good in your skin, it shows on camera. But if you feel like a bum, you feel down, you feel groggy, you feel disgusting, you haven't had a haircut in 3 weeks and you look like shit, that shows too. Viewers can't necessarily articulate the reason why they swipe, but they still do, and they still feel it. So I want you guys to put all of the chips in your favor as opposed to using them against yourselves, okay? The next part of this episode is going over why iPhone footage gets washed out. So once upon a time, iPhone footage was the look, right? But that moment is over. As of right now, that moment is over. Instagram as a platform started out as a place to share the highlights of your life. Remember, when Instagram first came up, some of you guys might be too young to remember this, but it was a platform for photos. And the photos that did the best were the photos that looked the best, of the coolest things, of people doing the coolest things. It was a highlight reel of photos for people. Then came along TikTok, and Instagram had to do something to keep up with this new platform that was getting millions upon millions upon millions of users. And it's probably in the billions now, right? But now they're going back to their own way. The platform of TikTok is significantly different to the platform of Instagram. Instagram supports and pushes more polished and taken care of content. And as much as iPhone content can still work, right? It still has to have everything that I just mentioned. Your lighting needs to be good. Your set needs to look good. Your outfit needs to look good. Your framing should look good. But if it just looks like a crap video that's been put together and has no real context, it will not perform on this platform. 99 times out of 10. So this is a rule that we like to go by, because we post iPhone stuff too. But this is a rule that we like to go by. So if the viewer can immediately tell that it was filmed on an iPhone in your bedroom, then the perceived value of that video drops. If it looks intentional, they stay. So if you're out and about and you're doing something and there's a visual hook and there's a visual design that's done correctly and there's an element of the video that spikes curiosity and it's shot on an iPhone, fine. But if you're sat filming a video like this on your phone, it just screams out, brokey. You know what I mean? The next part is an exercise. This is the 4-second test. I want you guys to do this right now. Open the last 5 videos that you've posted. And I want you to watch the first 4 seconds with no volume. Mute the video. I want you to ask yourself this. Can I tell who I am? Do I look like a brand? Or do I just look like somebody creating a video on Instagram? And would I stop scrolling on this if I didn't know this person? If you answered no to any of those 3 questions, your visual brand needs work. Okay? So I want you guys to take everything that you've heard in this video and apply it. Do not procrastinate. Move and move quickly. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask the other guys inside of the community, or if it's a little bit more specific to you and you need a little bit of extra help, please feel free to come into your private channel with me and the team, and we can help you as much as possible. Now, the constraint worksheet that I want you guys to send across to your editors. And this is what is going to make sure that every single piece of your content stays on brand. So it goes over your brand colors, your brand fonts, the subtitle style, your transitions, your B-roll style, your music style, and what not to do. If your editor has this, they can refer back to it in every single post that you make. Every single video they edit for you will follow these same things. So then the visual design starts to become consistent throughout your feed. Okay? So let's talk about the old way that you guys would approach content, or at least approach the look, right? My content is good and the visuals don't matter. Wrong. The new way we are going to approach this. The visuals are the gatekeeper. The content is what they earn the right to see. So the key takeaway from this, your visual design isn't shallow, it's the door. And if your door looks cheap, nobody will want to walk in, no matter what is behind it. Lock down on your fashion, your set, your lighting, and your editing constraints. Be religious about your consistency, because the brand starts looking like a brand the moment these 4 levers are in place. And also, if you don't already, get a fucking haircut before you shoot, get yourself some nice clothes that represent you correctly, and if you haven't, get in the fucking gym. You have one body, not just to look good, but to feel good. It's more important than you guys even know. So that was everything for this episode. I hope you guys took value from it, you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the next one. Vamos.